The central government is facing pressure on tax revenues because of the slowdown. Is the situation in states as bad or worse?
Worse. Worse. Worse for two reasons. One, the share in the central taxes that is drastically going down. Because all these tax breaks, 42% belongs to states.
The corporate tax cuts
Corporate
you're talking
taxes.
about.
So then the central transfers are declining. Add to that, the GST is not growing, not only for center but also for the state. So we have a situation now in Kerala where our tax revenue increase is less than 10%. But on the hand, you have recession, your support for people have to increase. Our expenditure is increasing by 16%. This is a big gap. So all states are under severe stress.
So the kind of pace of SGST collections till last year were reasonably strong. So it has fallen off mostly this year. I'm talking about SGST first.
No, GST.
Yes, the state GST.
This, even last year it was not good.
Okay.
But now this year it has worsened. And last year, the compensation cess was more than sufficient. They could carry over a surplus of some 40,000 crores from last year in the compensation fund. But this year, it looked like by February end, we will have exhausted the surplus. Perhaps we may be in the minus, in the red. So this year, that last year was bad, not very good, but this year is worse. There are 2-3 problems. One cannot pin out what went wrong. One, rates have been slashed without looking at the revenue implications. Now, having slashed it, now it's very difficult to raise it again. That was the election soap. Okay. Second, there's a compliance issue. The administration is just not in place. See, for example, we are in the third year. Still, we haven't got annual return. Without annual return, how do you scrutinize the tax given? How do you look for invoice matching and catch excess input credit claimed? eBay bill, I can get on real time, but commodity is moving in. So on. There are so many problems with administration. And traders are also not happy. They think it's too cumbersome and so on. And third is the recession. It's affecting the revenue. So all GST revenue is really down. Everybody was thinking, even if rate is reduced, now leakage will be so drastically reduced that it would compensate. But it has not happened.
That's because of the administration part mostly?
Yes, I think so. For example, a state like Kerala, we are a consumer state. We import 70% of our consumption from outside. So if everybody comes with eBay bill, there is no earthly way Kerala's revenue going down. But obviously, a major proportion of the commodities come outside the formal system. Various ways of dodging in, and we are not able to catch it.
So on this compensation issue, I just wanted, when the GST Council was, when the process was going on, surely it would have been envisaged that there could be years when the compensation cess is not adequate to compensate. Is there a mechanism? Because this is...
the compensation, we had a huge argument. In fact, it went over 2-3 councils. One, everybody was bitter, particularly Tamil Nadu and so on. Because VAT, the claim they made, government of India didn't agree to. And they didn't get the full claim. So they are very upset. They don't want that to be repeated. And everybody was nervous about giving up this tax, our tax right. So Jaitley finally brokered a piece saying that 14% guaranteed growth. So what are we going to fear? That's good growth, 14%
Good number.
for 5 years, guaranteed. And compensation would be paid if it falls below. So this compensation cess was designed. But then question rose, what will you do if compensation cess collected was not sufficient? And Jaitley openly committed that in that case, we will find a solution. And he said, simplest would be to have a temporary borrowing and pay this compensation.
From the market.
And extend the cess from 5 years to 6 years. Till this extra money you borrowed has been recouped and repaid. Very simple. So in fact, it is in the record of the minutes of the meeting, the 7th GST Council meeting. So it was after this assurance, and we changed may give to shall give, okay, and up to 5 years, no, for 5 years. So these were the major changes that were made in the law, draft law which was circulated. So this was a solemn commitment given. I'm very upset. For what reason? What reason this has been renegated? See, central government still has a surplus. They, at this moment of time, has something like 1 lakh crores. I mean, of which 65,000 has been paid already. So they have a balance of 40,000 crores. The total payment of compensation for October would have come to 22,000. You make the payment and then call everybody and say, 5 February, if you go like this, there will be a problem. How do you resolve this problem? And GST Council has been well known for this deliberative process. Everybody, you don't fight to the bitter end and so on. You compromise, okay? But this is unilateral action. No explanation, no warning, nothing. You just say, you don't give money.
They have yielded now in some ways.
They don't give an explanation saying your compensation, why your compensation is delayed, or whether it will be delayed at all. They just don't pay. This is unacceptable behavior. And that's the difference between the present dispensation and, I must say, Arun Jaitley.
You can catch the full interview in our new series, Managing State Finances, starting from January.